Okay, picture this. You're stuck in traffic, right? Already late for that really crucial meeting, and then just to make things perfect, your phone dies.
Ugh, the worst.
Or maybe it's that gut punch feeling when the market tanks right after you finally decided to invest, and you just watch it drop. Nothing you can do.
Yeah, that feeling of helplessness is potent.
Exactly. Or maybe it's, something more daily, like dealing with a boss whose mood just dictates your entire day. You're walking on eggshells, constantly stressed.
Completely at the mercy of something external.
You know that feeling, don't you? That just, powerlessness, the stress, the frustration over stuff you just cannot change. We've all been there, trapped.
It's a pretty universal human experience, I think, feeling like you're just reacting to things happening to you.
Well, welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're not just going to talk about that feeling. We want to give you a tool, a really profound, really practical tool for dealing with exactly that kind of challenge.
Hmm.
We're calling this one your first Stoic superpower.
I like that. Superpower.
Yeah, and look, it's not like literal magic. It's not telekinesis or anything. Right? No, it's this really solid psychological framework. It's been refined for what, over 2,000 years by ancient Stoic philosophers.
That's right. And it's not just a concept in Stoicism, it's really the foundation, the starting point for everything else.
Exactly. And the sources we looked at really emphasize this Stoicism is, they say, resolutely practical. Its goal isn't just thinking deep thoughts. It's about helping you live a, quote, good life.
Meaningful, fulfilling, marked by tranquility and joy, not just academic navel-gazing.
Totally. It's not dry theory. It's built for the doers of the world, people looking for strength and stamina for their, challenging lives. It's philosophy you can actually use.
Which is rare sometimes, isn't it? Philosophy that gets his hands dirty.
So true. Okay, so here's the plan for today. Our roadmap for this deep dive. First, we're going to clearly define this foundational concept, get right to the core of it.
Lay it out simply.
Then we'll hear directly from the philosopher who really nailed this down. And his backstory, born into slavery, it's incredible, makes his ideas hit even harder.
Absolutely. Adds so much weight.
And finally, you'll get a simple, concrete exercise, like something you can do today. The Stoics called them spiritual exercises. This one helps you start using this superpower right away.
Yeah, the aim is practical transformation, changing how you respond to the world.
Exactly, equipping you with that first key step towards, well, an unconquerable mind.
That's a perfect way to put it. And it's funny, isn't it, how people today often think philosophy is just abstract
Right.
for academics,
Yeah.
totally separate from, the daily grind.
Right, ivory tower stuff.
But for the Stoics, especially the guy we're focusing on today, Epictetus, philosophy was all about how to live. It wasn't about, like, wearing a specific robe or writing dense books.
Huh.
The texts show it was about rectifying one's character and, crucially, practicing a way of life. Their whole reason for studying this stuff was basically to put it into practice.
That practicality is key.
Yeah, that relentless focus on real-world application is what makes these old ideas still so powerful today, I think. It's philosophy for actually engaging with life, not just watching it go by.
That difference between theory and practice is huge, and right at the heart of this practical philosophy is the big one, the dichotomy of control.
The bedrock.
Right. And at its simplest, it just boils down to this fundamental split. Some things are genuinely up to us, and other things are just not. They're not up to us.
Seems simple, but it's profound.
And according to Epictetus, the philosopher we're really digging into, our main job, like our most important task in life, is just to get really clear on telling those two apart consistently.
And the stakes, they couldn't be higher when you're making that distinction or, failing to make it. He believed our most important choice in life wasn't about your career or who you marry.
Really? What was it then?
It was whether you choose to concern yourself with things external to us or things internal, that fundamental choice. And he was super blunt about what happens if you get it wrong. If you confuse externals and internals, if you think you control stuff, you actually don't. You will end up feeling hindered, disturbed, lamenting, blaming both gods and men. It's basically a recipe for misery.
Wow. So getting it wrong leads straight to suffering.
Pretty much guaranteed. But the flip side, if you focus only on what's truly yours, that internal realm, you achieve this radical kind of freedom.
How so?
He said famously, "No man will ever compel you. No man will hinder you. You will blame no man. You will do nothing involuntarily. No man will harm you. You will have no enemy, for you will not suffer any harm."
That sounds almost too good to be true. An unconquerable mind, no harm.
Well, it's not like a magic shield. It's about where you place your focus. It's a practical path to inner resilience, inner invincibility.
Okay, let's get really specific then. For someone listening, what actually falls into these two buckets? What's really up to us?
Yeah.
And what's definitely not up to us?
Good question. Let's break it down.
So first, the up to us stuff. These are things that are like naturally free, not subject to restraint or hindrance. This is our inner world, our choices, where we actually have agency.
Right. Your internal domain.
Epictetus points to a few key things here. He starts with our opinion. He calls it hypolepsis. Now, this isn't just like a random thought.
No, it's deeper.
Yeah, it's our judgment. How we perceive stuff, how we interpret it, the meaning we give it. It's like the filter we see the world through, where we decide if something is good, bad, or neutral.
That concept, hypolepsis, is absolutely crucial. Think of it like your mental appraisal system. Stuff happens externally that's an impression, fantasia, just raw data. What you do with that impression, how you judge it, the story you tell yourself about it, that's hypolepsis, and that part. That's totally up to you. That's the radical bit. It's not the event, it's your judgment about the event that causes the feeling.
Okay, so opinion judgment is number one. What else is in our control?
He lists our movement towards a thing, horme. These are like our impulses, our intentions, the internal push or pull before we act.
Like deciding you want to do something.
Exactly. And related to that are desire and its opposite aversion, eklesis, which is, turning away from something, our basic drives, our preferences, our rejections.
Got it.
Then he wraps it up neatly. In word, whatever are our acts. So basically, all our deliberate internal choices and actions. This is our faculty of reason, our guiding principle, the hegemonicon. Some even called it the divinity within.
Our core self, almost.
Yeah, your moral purpose. What Epictetus called prohairesis. That's the only place you're truly free and have total command.
Okay, that's the up to us. Now the big one, what's not up to us?
Right. And this category is described really starkly. Weak, slavish, subject to restraint in the power of others. This list is often kind of surprising, maybe even counterintuitive for us today.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Okay, first, our body. They don't control getting sick, aging, accidents, physical pain. It happens to the body.
Okay. That's a tough one for people.
Definitely. Then, our property. Your stuff, your money, can be gained, can be lost. External forces.
Right, the market crash example.
Exactly. Also, our reputation. What other people think or say about you. Totally their judgment, not yours. You can't force someone to like you or respect you.
That's huge in the age of social media.
Isn't it? And even offices or magisterial power. Your job title, your social status, political influence, all external, subject to others, to luck, to circumstance.
So basically anything that isn't our own direct choice or action.
Precisely. Whatever are not our own acts. This covers everything external. Other people's actions and opinions. You can't make your kid clean their room perfectly. You can't make your partner agree with you. Fame, fortune, wealth, all subject to chance. The weather, global events. Even the final outcome of your best efforts.
Wait, even the outcome?
Even the ultimate outcome. You control the effort, the intention, the action. You don't control the final result, absolutely. These are what the Stoics called indifference.
Indifference, meaning we shouldn't care about them.
Not exactly don't care. It means they are indifferent to our moral virtue. They aren't inherently good or bad in a moral sense. Health isn't morally good. Sickness isn't morally bad. They're just material. Stuff we use our judgment on.
Yeah.
Our virtue lies in how we deal with them.
Okay. So this idea of control, it sounds like it might be a bit more nuanced than just a simple yes control or no control at all.
Exactly. That's a really important point raised in the sources. Epictetus's basic dichotomy is the starting point, but it can be misread as too rigid.
Right, like it's only black or white.
Yeah, but there's this crucial third category often missed. Things where we have some influence, but not complete control. This is where a lot of our daily anxieties live, isn't it? Things we feel we should control, but we keep hitting limits.
Totally, like trying to get a promotion or maybe improve a relationship. You can influence it, but you don't have the final say.
Precisely. And this is where the Stoic approach gets really practical and avoids just like shrugging your shoulders and giving up. It's not about apathy.
Okay, so what do the Stoics say about these partial control situations?
They advise us to internalize our goals. Let's use your relationship example. Say you really want your spouse to love you. That external goal making them love you isn't fully in your control.
Right. You can't force feelings.
Exactly. You could be the perfect partner objectively, and they might still not feel it for reasons totally outside you. If your entire happiness depends on that external outcome, you're setting yourself up for pain.
Makes sense. So how do you internalize that goal?
You shift the focus from the external outcome to your own actions and character. So instead of, my goal is making my spouse love me, your internal goal becomes, my goal is to be the most loving, respectful, and virtuous partner I can possibly be.
Ah, I see. You control your behavior, your effort, your character.
Exactly. Whether they reciprocate,
Yeah.
that's ultimately up to their internal world, their prohairesis. Same with a job interview. The external goal is get hired.
Which you don't fully control.
Right. The internal goal is do my absolute best in the preparation and the interview itself. Focus on your performance, your professionalism, your clear communication. That you can control.
So success becomes about your effort and character, not the external yes-no.
Precisely. Lets you stay calm, preserve your tranquility, even when dealing with things you only partly control. Because your sense of success is anchored internally, not on shaky external ground.
That feels incredibly freeing, actually. It's about being effective where you can be effective, not fighting unwinnable battles against externals.
You got it. And to really hammer this point home, the Stoics used a great analogy. The archer.
Okay, the archer. Let's hear it.
Picture an archer, standing there, bow ready, aiming at the target. What does the archer actually control?
Their stance, how they hold the bow, their breathing, aiming, letting go of the arrow.
Exactly. All of that meticulous preparation, the execution, that's all up to them. It's within their prohairesis. They can strive for excellence in every single one of those steps.
Okay, so what don't they control?
Well, they don't control that sudden gust of wind that kicks up out of nowhere and pushes the arrow off course.
Right, or if the target suddenly moves or a bird flies past.
Perfect examples. Those are external factors, not up to them. So the deep Stoic wisdom here, for the archer and for us, is that their ultimate end, their real goal, should be to do all they could to aim straight.
To be the best archer they can be in the process.
Precisely. Their success, their inner peace, isn't measured only by whether the arrow hits the bullseye. It's measured by the excellence of their effort, their skill, their focus, their virtuous execution of being an archer.
So hitting the target is nice, maybe preferred?
Yeah, it's to be chosen, as they'd say. It's a preferred indifferent, but it's not to be desired as the sole source of your tranquility or measure of your worth. The real value, the virtue, is in the action itself, the effort you controlled, regardless of the final outcome.
That lets you aim high but stay grounded. Wow. Okay, that makes so much sense. And the philosopher who really refined this, Epictetus, his own life seems like the ultimate example of this principle.
It really does. His story is fundamental to understanding the power of this idea. He was born a slave in the Roman Empire. Think about that absolute lack of external control from day one.
Incredible. Who did he belong to?
A guy named Epictetus. He was actually an officer in Emperor Nero's imperial guard, which is pretty ironic given Nero's reputation.
Yeah, definitely.
But somehow, even this guy in Nero's inner circle saw something in Epictetus, some philosophical spark. And the sources say Epictetus was actually lamed by his master.
Horrific.
Yeah, it shows the brutal reality he faced. But despite that physical disability, despite being property, his mind, his spirit just flourished.
How did he get free?
It's not totally clear. Some sources say he was freed, maybe after Nero's death, but there isn't like a documented record of manumission.
Yeah.
But somehow he gained his freedom.
And then he started teaching.
Yes, in Rome initially, sharing these ideas, but then more external challenges. Emperor Domitian kicked him and other philosophers out of Rome around 89 AD. Saw them as a threat, I guess.
So he was exiled.
Yeah. He went to Nicopolis in Greece, opened a school there, and just taught quietly until he was old. Lived a simple life, didn't marry for a long time, then apparently adopted and raised a child a friend had abandoned. His whole life just embodies facing externals with internal strength.
Knowing that story just gives his words so much more gravity. Okay, let's hear some of those words directly. The very beginning of his handbook, the Enchiridion, just lays it out. Bam.
It really does. It's like the first sentence is the entire philosophy in miniature.
He wrote, of things some are in our power and others are not. In our power are opinion, hupolapsis, movement towards a thing, horme, desire, aversion, ecclesis, turning from a thing, and in a word, whatever are our acts.
Let's unpack that carefully. Opinion, hupolapsis, we talked about this. It's your judgment, your interpretation, how you decide what things mean. That's yours.
Right, the filter.
Then movement towards, horme, desire, aversion, Epictetus says these are your impulses, intentions, internal drives,
Yeah.
the direction of your will, your yeses and nos on the inside. And whatever are our acts, basically, all your deliberate choices and actions stemming from that inner core, your prohairesis, that's the sphere you command.
And in the contrast, he says, not in our power are the body, property, reputation, offices, magisterial power, and in a word, whatever are not our own acts.
And notice the language he uses for those. Weak, slavish, subject to restraint, in the power of others. He's saying these things are fundamentally vulnerable, dependent. And the payoff for getting this distinction right, he says you won't be hindered, won't be lamenting, won't be disturbed. You won't waste energy blaming both gods and men.
Because you're not fighting reality.
Exactly. You're focusing your fight, your effort, where it actually counts on your own choices and judgments. That, he says, is the path to real freedom, an unconquerable mind. It's about mastering yourself, not the world.
This idea of focusing on judgments leads straight to that other famous quote, right? The one about things versus our judgment of things.
Absolutely. It's like the practical consequence of the first principle. In Critian 5. What troubles people is not things, but their judgments, dogmata, about things. Marcus Aurelius basically says the same thing later.
It seems so simple, but it's revolutionary. Events are neutral.
Completely neutral. It's the story we attach, the value judgment. That's what causes the pain, the anger, the fear. Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius were constantly hammering this. Separate the objective event from your subjective reaction.
Can you give an example?
Sure, being insulted. The words someone says are just sounds, vibrations in the air. That's the event. The judgment, this is terrible, I've been disrespected, this person is awful, I feel diminished. That's the dogma, the judgment that causes the sting.
So the work is on the judgment, not trying to stop people from ever insulting you, which is impossible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They advise stripping events down to their nudity, seeing them objectively, without the layers of emotional interpretation, habit, or social prejudice we usually add. This helps us see that only our own moral choices are truly good or bad. Everything else, wealth, health, reputation, insults, is technically indifferent.
Not good or bad in itself, just material to work with.
Material for virtue, yeah. Our suffering comes from mistaking these indifferents for true goods or true evils. Modern psychology calls this cognitive reappraisal, right? Changing your thoughts to change your feelings. The Stoics were doing it 2,000 years ago.
So how does this play out in, real life interactions, dealing with difficult people, power dynamics? Epictetus must have talked about that, given his life.
Oh, definitely. His discourses are full of practical examples. He challenged students who were anxious about, say, speaking to a powerful Roman official. Why are you worried about how he'll receive you? Why do you care about his reaction?
Because that's external,
Yeah.
not up to you.
Exactly. You'd ask, is his listening well or poorly your fault? That belongs to others. He'd point to people like Socrates or Diogenes the cynic. They were confident in the things which they practiced.
Meaning their own integrity and way of speaking.
Yes, they focused on speaking truthfully, skillfully, virtuously. That was their job, their internal practice, how the tyrant or the crowd reacted. That was external, indifferent to their core task. They mastered their prohairesis.
So they weren't swayed by external power or opinion.
Right. And connecting this, Seneca, another Stoic, talked about anger. He called it brief insanity because it hijacks your reason, your guiding principle, the very thing that is up to you.
Yeah, anger definitely feels like losing control.
It is in the Stoic sense. Seneca said if you have to respond to an insult or correct someone, do it purposefully, maybe like training an animal rationally, to guide behavior, not out of personal rage or hurt ego. That way you're acting from your center of control, not being yanked around by uncontrolled emotion.
Okay, let's bridge this. Ancient Rome, ancient Greece. How does this land in 2025 with our specific anxieties?
It's remarkably relevant. The technology changes, the core human struggles, not so much.
Take doom scrolling. We get sucked into news cycles, global crises, political fights, stuff we mostly have zero direct control over.
And we get completely overwhelmed, right? The Stoic approach, drawing from folks who've written about this more recently too, is about learning to filter reliable signals from deceptive ones, to filter out our own prejudice, expectation, and fear.
Manage our information diet almost.
And manage our reaction to it. Recognize that letting our judgments run wild about uncontrollable externals just destroys our peace. We basically let algorithms hijack our emotions.
What about social media? The obsession with likes, reputation, followers.
Classic external. Epictetus literally listed reputation as not in our power. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor, constantly reminded himself how meaningless posthumous glory or noisy applause was. True value came from his own actions, his own virtue, not clicks or shares.
It seems so obvious when you put it like that, yet we constantly hand over our peace of mind to algorithms and strangers' opinions.
It's a modern trap built on ancient vulnerabilities. And think about workplace stress. That micromanaging boss, the difficult colleague.
Ugh, yes. Prime examples.
That's all about other people's actions impacting you. The Stoic move isn't to magically make them change or win every fight. It's to refocus your energy entirely on your performance, your integrity, your professionalism, your internal
You
response.
control how you show up.
Exactly. You can't control their behavior, but you have absolute control over your own conduct, your attitude, how you process it. That's your proheresis at work, right there in the office.
So the big goal, threading through all this, ancient and modern, is that state of tranquility, freedom, and calm, ataraxia.
Mm-hmm.
And you get there by rigorously focusing only on what you control. But it's not passive, right? It's not just sitting back.
Not at all. It's about being relentlessly active, as one force puts it. Applying practical wisdom, controlling your attention, your intentions, your emotions, your actions, mastering your inner world so you can act effectively and resiliently in the outer world. Becoming unconquerable from the inside out.
Okay, theory's great. Let's make this super practical. Let's walk through some scenarios someone listening might face, like tomorrow.
Good idea. Apply the dichotomy.
Scenario 1, the job interview. You've prepped like crazy, resume's perfect, you know the company, but you're still super anxious the night before, just consumed by will I get it?
Classic. Okay, let's break it down. What do you actually control here?
My preparation, right. The research, practicing answers, how I dress, being on time.
Yep. Your mindset going in, how clearly and confidently you speak, your politeness, your active listening, the questions you ask, all internal, all your actions, you own those 100%.
Okay. And what do I not control?
Oh, boy. How good the other candidates are. The interviewer's mood, their biases, conscious or unconscious, if they had a fight with their spouse that morning.
Huh, right.
The company's internal budget situation, the overall economy, where the hiring manager's boss suddenly changes the job requirements, and ultimately whether they actually choose you.
That's a lot of stuff outside my control.
It really is. So the Stoic application. Pour all your energy into nailing what's in your control, the prep, the performance. Be the best candidate you can be.
Yeah.
And then you got to let go of the outcome.
Easier said than done sometimes.
For sure. But your worth, your peace, isn't tied to their external decision. You redefine success internally. Did I prepare well? Did I present myself authentically and professionally? Did I do my best? That's the win. Getting the offer is a preferred external, but not the measure of your success as a person in that moment.
That takes the pressure off. Okay, scenario 2. A difficult conversation, family member, colleague, friend. You know it's going to be tense. Your stomach is in knots just thinking about it.
Yeah, relatable. Okay, control check. What's up to you?
How I prepare mentally, thinking through what I want to say, staying calm.
Definitely. You control deciding how you want to express yourself clearly, kindly, respectfully, your tone of voice, your active listening, really trying to understand their side even if you disagree, your intention, and crucially, managing your own emotional response, not letting anger hijack you.
Right, Seneca's brief insanity.
Exactly. Marcus Aurelius talked about being gentle, even with difficult people. That's your internal work.
And what's on up to me?
Their reaction, their defensiveness, whether they yell, whether they're willing to compromise, whether they even understand your point, or what they do after the conversation, all external to you.
So the application is?
Focus entirely on your conduct, your communication, your integrity in the conversation. Your inner peace doesn't depend on them agreeing or reacting how you want. You show up virtuously, you communicate as best you can that that's your success, you fulfilled your role, the outcome is secondary.
Powerful. Okay, last one, maybe the toughest. A health diagnosis. Something serious. It rocks your world, feels totally out of control.
Yeah, this hits deep. It challenges our sense of self, our perceived control over our own bodies. But even here, the dichotomy applies. What can you control?
Seeking information, getting second opinions, following the doctor's advice, my attitude.
Exactly. Diligently following medical advice. Researching your condition responsibly, actively cultivating a resilient mindset that's huge. Adhering to lifestyle changes. Choosing how you face pain or discomfort. Choosing how you want to live with the diagnosis. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the event, the illness, is one thing, his judgment about it is another, and he could keep that judgment quiet, objective.
And what's not in my control?
The diagnosis itself.
Yeah.
The ultimate outcome of the illness, often. the precise progression of the disease, external factors, maybe unforeseen complications, or the limits of current medicine.
So it's not about pretending it isn't happening.
Not at all. It's not about denial or toxic positivity. It's about directing your precious energy towards effective action where possible and cultivating inner strength at ataraxia to face what you cannot change with courage and reason, not with lamenting and trembling, as Epictetus put it. It's about protecting your mind, your prokeresis, even when the body faces adversity.
Okay, this distinction, this separation of inner and outer, is clearly the key. And you mentioned the Stoics had exercises for this, like practical tools.
Yeah, they were big on spiritual exercises, not religious, but practices for the mind, the spirit, the psyche. And there's a really simple, powerful one for this concept. We can call it the circle of control.
Okay, circle of control, how does it work?
Super simple. You can do it in your head, but it's often more powerful, especially at first, to actually grab a piece of paper and a pen.
Okay, got my imaginary paper and pen.
Huh, good. Now draw two circles, one inside the other, like a target or a donut.
Got it. Concentric circles.
Perfect. Now think of a specific situation right now that's causing you stress or anger or making you feel powerless, a work deadline, a relationship issue, money worries, whatever. Just pick one thing.
Okay, got one in mind.
Great. Now in that inner circle, the small one in the middle, write down everything about that situation that is absolutely 100% within your direct control. Your effort, your attitude, the specific words you choose to use, the choices you make, your preparation, your judgments about the situation, your actions. Be really specific. What can you actually command?
Okay. Listing things, effort, my response, planning.
Good. Now, in the outer circle, the bigger ring around it, write down everything related to that same problem that is completely outside your direct control. Other people's opinions or actions, the past, the final outcome, if it depends on others or chance. Market forces, the weather, what someone else might be thinking. Get it all out there in the outer ring.
All right. Other people's feelings. The deadline itself. Set by boss. If the computer crashes.
Exactly. Now take a good look at those two circles. The whole point of this exercise, the core Stoic practice, is to consciously decide to focus all your energy, all your attention, all your effort only on the things inside that inner circle.
That's the inner
Just the inner circle, the stuff in the outer circle.
Right.
You acknowledge it's there, it's real, but you deliberately release it from worry. You don't waste energy blaming it, lamenting it, obsessing over it. You accept it as outside your control and redirect everything back to what you can control. That's where your power lies. It's a visual map for your focus.
Wow. That seems incredibly practical. A way to actually do this.
It really is.
Yeah.
That simple act of sorting, of consciously choosing where to put your focus, that is the emerging superpower we've been talking about. It's putting Epictetus into practice.
Taking you from feeling pushed around by life to being the one directing your own responses.
Exactly. Empowered action within your own moral compass.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Key takeaways from today, this first Stoic superpower. Number 1.
Divide the world. Get in the habit consciously of separating what you control, judgments, intentions, actions, your proheresis from what you don't, externals, others, outcomes.
Number 2.
Realize that your happiness, your tranquility, that ataraxia, comes directly from putting your energy only into that sphere of control, that inner circle. That's where resilience is built.
And number 3, this isn't passive.
Absolutely not. It's about being relentlessly active where it counts. Mastering your inner world, your attention, intentions, emotions, actions, so you can be effective, resilient, and ultimately internally unconquerable. Cultivating that virtuoso agency.
All right, so your homework. If you're up for it this week, it's simple, but maybe not easy.
The best kind.
The very next time you feel that stress, that anger, that powerlessness creeping in, could be in traffic, reading an email, whatever, just pause, breathe, and ask yourself one question.
Is this thing upsetting me in my inner circle or my outer circle?
That's it, that one question. That's the start. The first step towards building an unconquerable mind. It can genuinely begin to transform how you see things.
It really can. It's about reclaiming your focus.
So next week, we're going to continue building this practical Stoic toolkit. We'll meet the people who didn't just think about this stuff, but lived it under incredible pressure.
Yeah, we'll dive into the lives of the slave we talked about today, Epictetus, but also a powerful Roman senator, Seneca, and even the emperor of Rome himself, Marcus Aurelius.
The slave, the senator, and the emperor. How did they actually use this principle to face exile, political intrigue, plagues, wars, and still strive for that unconquerable mind? That's what we'll explore.